What you are about to see is something I have never done before and something I never expected to ever do. This video is my full reaction to this achievement and also the entire story building up to it. Well, it only took a few hours, so it's not going to be that long of a story, but it is a story I never thought I would tell, and I am so excited to share this all with you. So, last night, less than 24 hours ago, as of recording this video, I just got my Mario Kart World and started streaming. I streamed for 8 hours starting at midnight, and I didn't sleep until 10 a.m. Honestly, no regrets, but I woke up feeling exhausted, physically exhausted, my fingers were dead, mentally exhausted, and my throat was sore from talking for 8 hours straight. So I actually didn't want to play Mario Kart today because I was just so tired. But then a few hours later, I was like, come on, it's Mario Kart World, I have to play. But I wasn't planning to time trial. I didn't even really want to play online because the thing is, I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing in this game. And so I wanted to just feel out the mechanics and see if I can get used to what is fast and what is not. Because you can kind of feel what's fast and what's not as you drive, but ultimately if you just play the game, you can't really always tell what's faster than something else, and you need to test. And the way to test is by going into time trials. So I went into time trials and I started trying to see if soft drifting is in this game. Because I heard some conflicting information on whether or not soft drifting existed in the game, and so I tested it, but I went to Mario Bros. Circuit, and the first turn was too wide. So I went on the world map, and I was like, oh man, I'm not really familiar with any of these tracks, but I need to find a track that has a sharp turn at the start. And eventually I stumbled upon Dino Dino Jungle. And so this was the first track that I went to after Mario Bros. Circuit, and I tested soft drifting. Now, if you don't know what soft drifting is, it's a technique that helps you charge mini turbos faster without turning too sharply. And this was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's in other Mario Kart games too, and as it turns out, it is also in Mario Kart World. And it is very important because without soft drifting, you cannot get the rainbow mini turbo at the start of Dino Dino Jungle. Yes, it is rainbow, not purple in this game. So after I discovered this, I was thinking, okay, I don't know if everyone knows about soft drifting, so let me download the world record and see if I can beat it on the first turn because I can get a rainbow mini turbo. So I look at the world record, sure enough, it only gets an orange mini turbo. So we are in business. And I do the first turn, and what I did was slower. Because even though I'm getting a bigger speed boost, again, like, you can't just look at something and guess if it's faster or not. You have to test it. And as it turns out, an orange mini turbo is definitely faster on this first turn in order to get this trick. And this trick is really fast, and that's part of why. So I didn't realize that. The trick gives so much airtime, I thought it would be slower, but as it turns out, a trick boost when you land is really, really strong. And that's why that trick is good. So I learned something new, and this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to look at the world records and just see what I could learn about this game so that I can gather, a lot of information about what's fast and what's not fast, and then eventually I will be able to improvise what's fast without deceiving myself about how fast I'm actually going. And once I have a handle of that, then I will feel a lot more confident playing real races online. Now, as I was testing, I tried copying the world record instead, and I realized that I couldn't really do this part. And I learned something new again. I learned that you're not supposed to early trick here, which is what I thought, to get less airtime, because for some reason early trick sends you up, and a late trick sends you far forward. So the late trick is actually better. And I thought the double trick is what causes the trick boost when you land to be so long, but as it turns out, it's actually the second part of the trick just makes you go to the right. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you trick. That's also something that I learned. So I learned a lot watching the world record, but I also had some speculation about what could be faster, because I'm seeing these grind rails right here in the cave, and they're just not using it. There's also a wall, they're not using it, and actually the very first thing that stood out to me was the ending section with the boost panels and the tricks, because as you can see, a lot of the trick boost overlaps with boost panels, and as we know from most Mario Kart games, being in the air is slow, often even if you're in a speed boost. So I'm looking at this trick leading into this boost panel, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think that's right. I don't think we should trick off that ramp, because in Mario Kart World, you can trick in the air. So if we just drive off the ramp normally and then trick in the air, we still land in a trick boost, but we get less airtime. So shouldn't this be faster? And after some testing, it seems like it might be faster, but if it is, it's like 2 frames. It's almost nothing. But still, I was like, oh, that's amazing. I discovered something new. And so I started looking at these grind rails, and I tried every way imaginable to get them to be faster. Everything that's obvious that you could think of, I have already tried, and it's not faster. However, I did try something that's pretty cool, where you hop onto the left rail, and then the right rail, and then wrap around the wall, and then mushroom through the shortcut. But you need a very, very high handling stat to make this work, and that's all the low speed combos. So maybe it's worth it with the low speed combo. If it is faster, it's barely faster. However, it's not going to make it into a world record. So yeah, those are most of my ideas. And then I just picked Bowser and started time trialing. Now, I wasn't trying to like break the world record or anything, right? These players are really, really good. It is a day 1 world record, but these players are really good. And I found a strategy that might save 2 frames, which means 6 frames over the whole run. But that's probably, like, I'm not good enough for that to matter. Like, I'm not going to get a world record. Maybe I'll just tell someone who's good at this game, they'll set a world record, and then I can take some credit for the strategy. That's all I was thinking. However, during some of my time trialing, something really weird happened. Take a look at this. Now, you might just see this and think to yourself, okay, you didn't do the strategy correctly, so of course you went slower. But what shocked me here was it looked like I caught up a little bit for a moment there, even though I did everything wrong. So I take a look at the world record, and sure enough, I don't think this is good. Like, yeah, they're doing the strategy that they're doing well, but I just don't think this strategy is fast. I don't know what you should do instead, but this just doesn't look right because these tricks look really slow. It's like you're floating through the air really, really slowly. And I thought, is airtime really bad in this game? Because a lot of the physics in this game was reminding me of Mario Kart Wii. And in Mario Kart Wii, what can happen is you land in a trick boost, and the game tries to accelerate you up to full speed, but it doesn't do it instantly. So before you're even close to your top speed, if you leave the ground again, the game no longer is capable of accelerating you. And it seems like that is also true in Mario Kart World. So reducing airtime is crucial. And so these tricks are actually not good because of the way that when you land, you immediately get off the ground again, and the acceleration of a trick boost doesn't seem that good. Now, take a look at the start boost. You may have noticed, one of the first things you may have noticed in this game is that the start boost is very weak at the start. You're basically not moving, and it slowly accelerates you up to full speed. And so I looked at that, and it reminded me of how trick boosts and mini turbos feel the same way. They feel like they accelerate you very slowly and don't take you to top speed right away. So maybe that's why these trick boosts are bad. It's not accelerating you up to full speed right away, then you leave the ground, and it's no longer accelerating you because it can't do that in the air. Which is funny because in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you could accelerate briefly after leaving the ground, but it doesn't seem like you can do that in this game. So what we conventionally think is fast may not be fast. And as always, the only way to figure out the answer to this is by testing. Now, what the world record does looks really good, and I'm gonna be honest, this is exactly what I thought it would do. The moment I saw this shortcut, I was like, yeah, you probably drift through that, charge a great mini turbo at the end, you know, orange or rainbow, and then probably do some tricks. However, I want you to take a look at what I discovered. I'm gonna be honest, this looks so bad. It looks slow. It looks like I'm hardly doing anything. And it looks like I just made this up first try. But somehow, it's faster than the world record. And it's also easier. Now, at this point, I had set a time for myself that was 1.5 seconds behind the world record. And I still didn't feel like I was very good at this game. So I'm thinking to myself, if I just keep practicing this, and I have a solid advantage over the world record, maybe I can beat it. So I start practicing this track over and over and over. And let me tell you, it didn't take that long. Thanks to my strategy advantage, it only took 2 hours before I managed to get a run that was faster than the world record going into lap 3. Now, I wasn't well practiced enough, I wasn't consistent, so ultimately this run died as well. But my time was rapidly improving, and here's the funny thing. I wasn't even trying to get the record yet. I was in the testing phase still. I was changing up my strategy on runs all the time. I was using the rewind function to help me test things. Unfortunately, the rewind function doesn't rewind the ghost, so I couldn't always tell if what I was doing was faster, but it was really good for just testing a movement mechanic to like practice it, and then eventually I can test against the ghost. And then at some point, I was getting really good runs. I was getting within 1 second of the world record. And not only that, I had modified several strategies from the world record, including the combo that I'm using to try and beat it. And the only reason these times are a second away from the world record is not because my strategies are slower, it's because I'm so new to the game that I'm unable to piece together a full run. I don't have backup strategies. I don't know what to do when I'm about to fail. I haven't encountered every failure yet. So of course, I'm making several mistakes every single run, but still within 1 second of the world record. And then eventually I got a run that was 0.1 below the world record going into lap 3. And this is when I realized I can actually do this. Like by this point, I've been going at this for 3 hours and I had a run that could have beaten the world record. That's insane. Like, I know I'm good at Mario Kart and skills from previous games are translating, but I'm not like top in the world at Mario Kart. So this was baffling to me. And I thought, you know, I think this may be the only opportunity I ever get. I'm going to dedicate today to trying to make this happen. And I can't dedicate any longer than 1 day because somebody is going to take this record down. So I have to do this today. Let's get to work. Now, I was lowering my time a lot, and 20 minutes after I decided to try and go for the world record, I was already 0.3 away. And it still felt a little bit out of reach, but it felt like if I just got lucky enough and strung together enough of these fast strategies together, then I can do it. And the thing is, if I'm winning against the ghost, I have faster strategies, so I can just win. But if I'm losing against the ghost, I can start playing riskier. For example, you can take this turn really tight and it can save a lot of time. And you can also try to clip just the right amount of grass on the very first turn of any of the 3 laps, and it actually does what I'm going to call a grass boost. It just shoots you forward instead, and I want to say it saves at least 0.2 seconds every time you do this. And the world record is not doing this. And I'm also not really doing this unless I'm playing risky because it's just too hard to do, you know? Like, I can get world record without it, so I'm not gonna do it unless I'm behind and need to play risky. Now, I did start to notice something. Like, I had more speed than the world record combo, but my handling was quite a bit lower. And I noticed that even when I was doing really well, I would lose time to the final turn. And so I thought to myself, okay, this is a huge time loss, and I probably can sacrifice some speed to get some more handling, right? No one knows what the optimal combo is on any track. We're all just making it up at this point. So I decided, you know what? If I'm going to get a bit more handling, but I still want speed, let's go with King Boo. You know what? Let's go with Aristocrat King Boo. And I even get to play on this cart from Boo Cinema, so it's like super duper fitting. But then before I could even play another run, disaster struck. I opened up the rankings, and there is a new world record, and it is 0.2 seconds faster, and I don't think I can beat this. I thought that at best, a 0.1 is what I could get if everything went perfectly. And yeah, like, I don't know if I could beat this in 1 day, because if I take 2 days, the record's going to be even faster than this by then. So I'm thinking, like, how did they get this world record? I have to give it a shot, right? I need to see what they do. What are they doing that's faster? And so I watched the world record, and it's on a really silly wiggler combo. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, they didn't do any new strategies. I thought someone might discover a faster way to do the shortcut, and then I was doomed. But no, they're just doing everything a little bit better. And now I have another ghost that I can learn from that's even better than the previous ghost. So let's race against this ghost, and maybe, just maybe, I can still do this. And after a few attempts where I finally managed to keep up with the ghost going into the shortcut, I realized my version of the shortcut is still faster. So I still have an advantage over the world record. And on the very next run, I managed to get a lap 1 that is faster than the world record. I am 100% sure I can do this. It may take a while. I don't know if I will do it. I have to play really well and really consistent, but this is doable. And just a few minutes later, I set a 150.778. This is not my best, but it is the best I have set with King Boo, and this gives me confidence that King Boo can make it. Then I get another run with the faster lap 1, the fastest lap 1 I've ever had, and then I just immediately fail. Just a few minutes later, I am on the run of my life. I go into lap 3 with the lead, and I'm thinking, not much can go wrong here. And I'm not kidding you when the only thing that was in my head was the words world record, world record, world record, over and over and over. And I could not turn that voice off in my head. I have never set a world record. I am now in a situation I have never been in. And I just drive into the grass. I don't know how to handle myself in this situation. And I don't blame myself, right? I've never been here. And if I got it here, it would be just too easy, wouldn't it? So let's try again. On the very next run, everything goes really, really well. However, I'm unable to do the strategy that has cost me the most runs so far. See, on lap 1, when you go over the ramp at the start, you just want to grab the coin and do 2 tricks in the air. However, on lap 2, what Frozen did was he went off to the left side for a coin. Honestly, I tested and I don't think that's worth it. So what you can do on lap 2 instead is what he had done for the lap 3 strategy, which is to take this to the right side instead and get another trick off this grind rail. And it doesn't look that bad, but it's actually really, really tough. And I was failing this a lot with Bowser because my handling stat was too low. It got a lot easier with King Boo, but it was still really difficult because you need to really align to the right, but without touching the grass. And then once you get up there, like, it's not free. If you're slightly off position, you can end up in the grass on the right. So you have to land right on the rail, and then you have to actually trick off the end of the rail. You can't just trick anywhere on the rail. If you do a normal trick, you will land in a weak trick boost, a trick boost that doesn't last very long. But if you trick off the end of the rail, you will land in a longer trick boost, and this is what you want. Now, I was struggling a lot to even just land on the rail, so this was killing a lot of my runs, and I got a 150.672, which was now my best run with King Boo. It's still not as good as what I did with Bowser, but I can feel the potential there. And 10 minutes later, I'm on the run of my life. I am again ahead going into lap 3. I get a great first turn. I get the trick boost, the strong trick boost off the rail. And I'm thinking, why am I thinking? I just hit the grass. But it's okay, because this is still salvageable. My shortcut is faster than the world record. So let's do this. I just didn't know the egg was there. And there goes my chance at world record. This is my first ever world record fail. If I make it past this egg, I'm pretty sure there's at least an 80% chance I get world record, because the rest of the run is the easiest part after this. I just didn't know you could hit the egg, and it auto tricks for you. It auto bounces you on the egg, and then it auto tricks for you, and it's really, really slow because you're in the air. And the reason I was even over there was because I was dodging the dinosaur legs. The dinosaur legs are only on lap 3, and I don't get a lot of practice of lap 3, obviously, so I just didn't realize this could even happen. And I can't fault myself for making a mistake I didn't even know was possible. So there we go. That's my first world record fail, and I just have to move forward. I keep myself composed, and just a few minutes later, I get a 150.371, which almost is now faster than the original world record I was trying to beat by Frozen, but it's still not faster than the new world record by Just Nintendo. And a huge problem I'm having now is trying to get the drift after the dinosaur on lap 2, because this thing is just in the way, and you cannot get here fast enough to dodge it. So you just have to bump into it, and it's kind of luck-based. You have to hope it doesn't put you into the grass. And the worst part about this section is that it's actually different on lap 1, 2, and 3, because on lap 1, you're trying to align for the coins, so you naturally very easily dodge the grass. On lap 2, obviously, the dinosaur. And then on lap 3, you're not trying to align for the coins, which sounds like that's better. There's just no restriction now. However, again, I rarely get to lap 3. So in a high pressure situation, this is still something I can fail by running into the grass. But all I can do is get more repetition, and eventually maybe I won't fail these. So 15 minutes later, I'm again leading into lap 3, and I fail the rail in a brand new way. And it sucks, because I have a strategy that's faster than the world record, and I have a 1/10 of a second lead going into lap 3, which is the biggest lead I've ever had. I've hardly ever even had leads. This is a huge lead. I didn't even need to hit the rail perfectly. I could have gotten a weak trick, and it would have been fine. But I just achieved something I had never achieved yet. The biggest lead I've ever had into lap 3. And I didn't realize my microphone was on as I was recording, but here's what I said to myself at the start of the next race. Come on, you got this. You just gave yourself an opportunity. Do it again. This run didn't quite work out, but I kept that positive mentality because I know I can do it. And this was the very next run. That was good. Yeah, so I've been mentioning all of the most common failures for me. This is not one of them. This is something I usually get. Typically, by the time I hit the final shortcut, everything goes smoothly. But for some reason, not on this run. And this is now my second ever world record fail. Now, here's another run that I recorded, and I named it as a world record fail, but I didn't want to watch it back. I thought it might be too painful. I missed the trick at the end. I'm now watching this for the first time, and I was not going to get world record. So, we're good. Just 4 minutes after the last world record fail, I'm going into the end of lap 3 with the lead, and this happens. This is not something I really look out for, because on all previous runs, I have successfully dodged the leg. But knowing that this was world record pace, I guess I tunnel visioned, and I forgot to look there. So that's something you can run into on lap 3. It's only on lap 3. Now on this run, I'm ahead going into the shortcut again, and I know exactly what I need to avoid, but I just made this mistake again. That's the second time I've ever hit the egg, and it's the second time the egg has stopped me from getting the world record. But I'm reminding myself over and over after every run, after every failed run, after every world record fail, that I am getting so close. I'm failing world records, but I'm getting better. So I'm getting more opportunities at this. I have failed to get world record 5 times in the last 20 minutes. Is that who I am? That I just choke all of these great runs? Because it's my first time in this situation and I just can't handle the pressure? Maybe that's who I am. Maybe I'm the guy that chokes all his world record runs. But I am also the guy who just had world record pace into lap 3 5 times in the last 20 minutes. That is who I am. And if I can get to world record pace this consistently, I can do it again, and maybe next time, I won't fail it. But I need to keep trying, because if I don't try, I will not give myself that opportunity. And this is what happens 5 minutes later. I missed the final trick. All I had to do was hit that trick, and that was world record. By this point, I didn't even think I could fail. But of course, I can. As I've proven again and again, I can fail at any point. 10 minutes later, I get my best ever lead into lap 2, and I hit the dinosaur in a way I've never hit the dinosaur before. Like, this is brand new to me. Why is the game giving me brand new ways to fail right now? And you know what? The pressure was gone. The run was dead. But I finished it, and I hit that final trick. So maybe next time, on world record pace, I will hit this trick. And the next time that I was on world record pace, I successfully hit the final trick. But I also hit the grass on the final turn. And I just want this to end. Why am I failing this in every single possible way? And in this moment, in my head, this is what I'm telling myself. You are getting better. You are still improving. You are getting opportunities at the world record more and more often. You just set your best ever time. This is a good thing. Right? Right? That's a good thing. I'm getting better. If anything, I'm getting closer to the world record. I have to be. And I didn't have any more good runs for the next 5 minutes. And then I got this run. Yes! Yes! Woohoo! I need to close the door. I have neighbors. Oh! Yes! Oh, man. Sorry for... I hit the display capture. Oh, that's so stupid. Yes! Okay, hang on. Is this real? Please tell me no one has broken the record yet. Please. Okay, come on. View rankings. Yes! Yes! I'm number 1! I got my first ever world record. Oh! With King Boo! With the aristocrat King Boo, because I haven't unlocked any of the other King Boos. Let's go! Oh. I could scream. I've already screamed. I could cry. Yes! This is a dream come true. Oh, we're gonna watch that back. I'm hating myself right now for messing up the footage at the end, because I thought my mic was off, and I tried to turn it on, and instead I showed my screen. I'm gonna have to block that out. Yeah, let's see what happened. I remember there was a mistake in this run. But I remember it was also a really clean start. Yeah, awesome. The short strat. This is also the short strat. Oh, let's go. I didn't just break the world record. Oh, that's crazy. I have a world record. I didn't just do that, but I invented a new strategy too. I've always wanted that. I never thought I'd get a world record, but I always wanted to invent my own strategy. And I always had that name in my back pocket, the short strat. Oh, it's finally here! On Dino Dino Jungle in Mario Kart World! Oh, that was so good. It was a bit slow, but then I landed early and that made up for it. Okay, that doesn't matter too much. It's slower than not hitting the grass, but it doesn't matter too much. I don't even remember if I was ahead or behind going to lap 3. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got the weak trick boost. Because, like, for some reason on lap 3, it's so hard to see where you are relative to that ramp, relative to that rail. All right, here, I think I got kicked. I might have, I can't tell there. But yeah, here I was just thinking, if I don't fail, this is world record for sure, even if I hit the grass. But then I took a slightly bad line, and that was a tiny, tiny little error, and ultimately I got the job done. Oh man, I am so happy! Oh. I'm so happy. Yes. Oh. This game is everything I could have wanted and more. I can't believe that. That's me. Oh. Oh man. It's just hitting me. I don't know why it felt so, everything felt so normal, and now it's really hitting me what just happened. I was too locked in. I did it. It's a day 1 world record. Let's not get too dramatic. But I've never done this before. And at some point I was really thinking I wasn't gonna get it. Because I didn't think I had what it took. I just made every possible mistake. That's right at the end. I guarantee you, by the time I upload this, it's not going to be world record anymore. But this is good. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I hope you all enjoyed that. By the time this video comes up, I expect this world record to be long beaten, because I know, like, I'm just being real, I know there are people that have played this game more than me so far. They are more talented players than me. And honestly, this world record is what we call strats carried. I didn't get the record because I did the strategies better. I got the record because there are new strategies and I was the first good player to implement them. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that this is my first ever world record. It is very special to me. And I did come up with those strategies myself. So this is one that, to me, it feels completely deserved. And it'll always have a special place in my heart. And also, I used the GameCube controller.